Hey, Greg.
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Having a good summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep hearing everyone say, summer's almost over. I'm like, no, stop. Just stop. Live in the moment. It's not over.
Shut up. But my kid goes back to college. Michael goes back to college tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then a week after that, the other one goes to college. So it really, it's getting short, and I don't like it.
It's happening, but I will always err on the side of it's not over. It's not over. It's not over.
And here in Pennsylvania, we get that ridiculous hot weather in September out of nowhere, so we get a little more of it.
Yeah. And I'm the weirdo who keeps my pool open until like October. It's like I'm freezing my hands while I'm trying to close it because I just don't want to let go of summer.
So true.
Yeah. But the other wrap up here was we just had the end of the Olympics. Just yesterday, the closing ceremonies. Did you get a chance to watch much, or? So
it's kind of a funny story. So for years, I was the biggest DirecTV fan in the world, and then everybody went to streaming services like, I'm not going to do it, and slowly but surely, all of a sudden I got Hulu, and then Amazon. I'm like, all right, so now I'm paying for pretty much everything out there, and I was like, I think I'm just going to cut the cable cord, and I got rid of it about 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And, my wife's been insistent. She was like, get rid of it. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm too old school. And I finally got rid of it. And then the Olympics started, and she's an Olympic nut. And she's like, I want to watch the Olympics. How do I do that? And I'm like, we can't. Because we don't have NBC Prime, or I don't know what the name of it is. Yeah, so we only had to watch, like, recaps of it. But nothing major. Didn't get to see the opening ceremonies, nothing. How about yourself?
Well, I was on the other side of it where I have YouTube TV, and they were all about it.
Okay.
So they were putting on this like special icon that would pop up with a multi-view.
Okay.
So you could be watching 4 different events at the same time.
Nice.
And just kind of like pop from one to the other.
Yeah.
So you'd get the audio of whichever one you wanted, but you could be watching 3 other ones while watching, the primary one.
Yeah.
And I felt so futuristic. I was like, this is so cool. But yeah, I watched a fair amount and saw some pretty cool like moments when they actually happened. Like there was the pole vaulter who broke the world record.
Oh, okay.
I saw some cool moments with the USA volleyball and stuff like that. But
I was at the beach yesterday, and we just so happened to walk into the pizza shop for lunch. And as we look up, it's literally the last 10 seconds of the women's basketball finals. Okay. And we got to see that. I was like, oh, this is perfect timing.
Yeah. Both the men's and women's basketball finals were pretty exciting.
Yeah.
With Steph Curry hitting a crazy shot.
I heard.
They were talking about it like that. The physics of it didn't make sense. That the arc of it was just way too high. But it seemed like he just was sensing that this was his one opportunity. In 4 years he's probably not going to be either playing or want to compete at that level. And so he kind of took the game over. It seemed like he was like, we are not losing, because it seemed like it was pretty tight with France in that final. So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I knew that the athletes in the river, like they knew the river, the Seine, had unacceptable amounts of E. coli. But they let him in anyway.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a little touch and go there with some of them not being able to hold their cookies after being in there.
Yeah. And of course the break dancer.
Yeah, the Australian break dancer.
How epic was that?
Yeah. Some of the moves were curious, I guess maybe would be the best way to say it. And then of course there's been like a meme farm that's been created from it. Yeah. One of the funniest I saw that was they showed her like, I guess, kind of rolling around and kind of arcing her back and stuff, and then someone flipped it to a cat, and the cat was doing basically the exact same move. It's like, I see where she got her inspiration from.
Oh, there was one I saw of when she's up on one leg with her knee high and her arms kind of like a T-Rex. Okay. And it was like they compared it to like a Scooby-Doo episode where they're sneaking.
Totally. Yeah. And God bless her. I mean, she went out there and she competed. I don't know what she was doing, but somehow she made the cut, and she's created a name for herself, because, man, the internet is just loving her.
Roasting her, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that feels to be on the receiving end of all that comedy pointed directly at you. But
well, it's kind of sad. It's the only time, like, it's not coming back.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Losing out on comedy gold there.
No.
There was the one, the meme with comparing her to the Elaine dancing on Seinfeld.
Totally. That's just the beauty of it, is there's so many references that you can draw from that one performance. I was curious though to look. I've never been one to like track the medals per se. Like I'll kind of check in here and there just to see. So I wanted to see where it all kind of shook out at the end. And the U.S. did get the most medals. I don't know. Did you see any of the totals?
Yeah, I mentioned my wife is a Olympic nut.
Right. Yeah.
She creates a little grid that she puts on the fridge and updates every week with the total medal counts and other countries and all of that kind of stuff. So I knew the United States was doing quite well.
Yeah. 126 was the total. And then the next closest was China with 91.
Yeah, that's pretty good. USA. USA.
The thing that I thought was pretty wild, though, is that with all the countries represented, it looks like 84 different countries got at least one medal.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. And one of those countries that got only one medal was the refugee Olympic team. Did you catch any of this?
No.
So this was like I guess like a project that one of the main Olympic chairmen or something, I don't know, somebody at a high level wanted to make this happen. So they selected people that were refugees in countries around the world to be part of this refugee team. And they got one medal, bronze in boxing.
Cool.
So I thought that was pretty wild. That here's a bunch of people who are basically just trying to survive and then end up going to the Olympics and win a medal. So that's pretty cool on a world stage. It's pretty amazing. So
that's very cool.
Yeah. Other countries that only got one medal: Peru, one medal.
Okay.
Qatar, one medal.
Okay.
Singapore. Slovakia.
Okay.
Zambia. Cabo Verde.
Oh, I've never heard of that country.
Another country I can't really pronounce. That rounds it out. So yeah, but it was pretty cool to see that 84 countries got
at least one.
Some representation.
Yeah. So. It reminds me of that old joke. No, I'm not going to say it. All right, I'll say it. No, I can't because we're like, a nice podcast.
So there was your stay tuned for more at 11.
Yeah,
except there will be no broadcast at 11, so you'll never know what the secret joke was. That's funny.
Well, we try to keep things nice and polite.
That's right.
Latch-Key Dads.
Right.
It's family
friendly.
Yeah.
Keeping it PG. It does remind me, though, I was listening to some of our old episodes just because I still listen to us.
Sure.
It was our 50th episode. We went back and played some clips from former episodes, and one of those was the Spencer's donkey for $85. Just skirting around the line on that one.
I think we've adapted pretty well. We very never really curse. If we do, we might put a little car horn over it or something like that.
Yeah. But in that episode, we talk about some of the classic things that we've talked about over the years that we've been doing this, which is crazy. It's been years that we're doing it.
It is crazy.
So much of it being 80s, 90s centric. Yeah. I thought today it'd be fun to kind of talk about some of those 80s centric things that maybe we didn't participate in or catch or
good idea. Okay. Yeah. So like you're saying, if we didn't participate in these, we might have our 80s card revoked.
Yeah, I think that might be a good way to say it.
Yeah, okay. Well, what do you got? Come on, let's hear what you got.
All right. So one thing that I think it was pretty pervasive, at least in my high school, was the hypercolor T-shirt craze.
Oh yeah,
everybody had hypercolor.
Yes,
I did not have hypercolor. No, I did not.
Oh man, 80s card revoked.
Nice. So did you have a hypercolor?
I think I did have one.
Yeah. It seemed like even like the fate or craze, whatever, lasted fairly long, and there was the initial they were kind of expensive,
right,
kind of thing. But then over time they got cheaper, and you could get them kind of anywhere. But for whatever reason, I think it might have been self preservation because I didn't want the hot armpits.
Hamburger pits.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want that. But and now I've seen that they've kind of tried to make a resurgence. I've seen hypercolor clothing here, there. Different. I don't know who's if it's the same company or if there's another company that's kind of trying to make them
took that technology
popular again. Yeah. How about you? Anything that comes to mind?
Oh man, well, this one really you might kick me off the podcast for this one, Tim. And I love movies. Uh-huh. I've actually never seen Say Anything.
Okay, stop the podcast. Stop recording. Greg's got to go do some homework. Watch Say Anything. I'll get you a boombox and everything.
I know the references. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I was never a rom-com guy to begin with, and at that age I was like, Yeah, no, not really for me. But and then when I was interested, I don't know, just it didn't happen for me, Tim.
Yeah, I get that though, because there's certainly a number of movies that, like, I think some of it too was the way that movies were available when we were like younger. In that if you didn't catch it when it was in the theater, and that you weren't going to spend your like rental for that week or whatever on that movie that you missed, you wanted to see the new stuff. It just, you kind of missed your window.
Right.
And then you got to decide like later in life, like I'm going to go back and watch all these, old movies that I didn't see, which kind of brings me to one that I didn't see.
Okay.
And this might actually be worse.
Oh, I don't know. Let's hear it.
I never saw the first Friday the 13th movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've seen like bits and pieces. I've watched documentaries about the making of it, but like from start to finish, I've never seen the entire movie.
That's funny because I actually watched it not that long ago with William, and it's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. But remember, that came out in the 70s.
Yeah, but I just feel like it was so pervasive.
So, yeah.
Like every Halloween season, it was either on TV. Well, probably that was later on that it showed up on TV, like later, like when we were in our 20s and 30s and stuff. But yeah, I think as a little kid, like when kids would talk about it, it's like the idea of it scared me a lot that I just didn't seek it out. And then when I would see it, it would be on like somebody, we'd go to like Halloween party and somebody'd have it on and you'd see like bits of it.
Right.
But I never from start to finish saw the whole movie, and I've never taken the time to do it since. So maybe, we'll both have some homework here. We'll report back.
I'll watch Say Anything. You'll do Friday the 13th.
Yeah, definitely.
It's on a free streaming service because I did watch it. So
yeah,
we'll have to
I'm sure it is.
Check it out. Yeah, that's too good. That's too funny.
Yeah. And I saw the behind the scenes, like making of it. The Movies That Made Us did a thing on horror movies.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of how they made the movie and a lot of the scenes, again, from like the director's side of seeing the scenes. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch it start to finish. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Kind of created the whole genre, really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like super like low budget in the sense that the budget was really low. But from a scare factor, it sounds like it,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So this was, you brought this up. It's a great topic, Tim. I think we talked about this once before, but if you think about like an event that we should have been part of or witness to or something like that, for whatever reason, I didn't get to see the Challenger liftoff and subsequent explosion. For whatever reason, my school said we're only going to pick like 3 or 4 kids that got to watch it in the teachers' lounge.
That's really
I think it was like the teachers' pets from like each like class got to go see it, and like the rest of us were tough luck. So I remember like my one good friend was one of those teachers' pets, and he came out and he's like, "Yo, the Challenger just exploded," and we all thought he was like, pulling out, like, no. He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What?" So I actually, I saw the footage, of course, later on, but it wasn't live for me.
That's so strange, that the school made that decision because it was such like, I mean. Again, I watched a documentary about it, and as a kid, I don't remember all the like promotion that they did on TV about the fact that it was a teacher, and that it was this new frontier of having a civilian go up, but the fact that it was all centric to teaching, that the school would make the decision to be, it's okay.
We're not gonna, we had all in our class was a huge buildup.
Yeah.
We wrote letters to the astronauts, the whole thing, and they're like, "Nah, you can't watch it though."
Yeah. So bizarre.
So weird. Yeah. I told you I grew up in a strange place, Tim.
That's funny. Okay, so here's another one. This is kind of specific. I hated chicken croquettes. Do you remember chicken croquettes?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's wrong with chicken croquettes?
I don't know. As a kid, there was something about like the texture of those, like the pureed chicken or whatever that was in those things.
Yeah.
I could not stomach them.
Couldn't do it, huh?
Like I would go like to extremes of like if we'd have like like a baked potato, I would try to like hide as much of one in there. I would like mash them and kind of spread it around the plate to make it look like I ate some, and I just could not stand chicken croquettes.
Something about the texture.
Yeah
And
I feel like a chicken croquette was sort of like one of those meals that was pretty common when I was a kid. And I can't say that I've really looked, but I don't feel like chicken croquettes are very hot on like the options in the grocery store these days, or if they even make them.
I haven't heard that term in years.
Yeah. Now, I do know my dad is a big fan of the chicken croquette.
Okay.
There was a diner kind of near to where they lived that they were able to get some chicken croquettes at a diner.
Nice.
So that kind of, I guess, answers the question that they do still make them, but I don't think they're getting getting into as many households as they did in the 80s.
They were a hot ticket item in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Yeah. Maybe not a card revoking thing, but
maybe a warning.
Yeah, there you go. How about you? What else?
So this one is everybody loved these things, and for some reason they grossed me out, much like your chicken croquette thing.
Yeah.
I hated fruit roll-ups. That bizarre gummy sort of texture, I just grossed me out.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and everybody loved fruit roll-ups.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, they were the hottest thing.
Yeah.
And they were trading them at lunch.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, no, that's gross.
Well, I do remember I did prefer to eat them as the thin, kind of paper. Some kids would ball them up.
Oh.
And it would get you'd really have to kind of gnaw through it. I didn't like them as much when they were kind of packed together into a thicker sort of ball or whatever. But yeah, I didn't mind them. I think they were on pretty regular rotation in my my lunch bag or lunch pail or whatever. Yeah.
Now, real quick, let's take a mid-episode break to bring our viewers the D&D phrase of the episode.
All right.
What do you think?
Yeah,
think it's a good
do it
time?
early. Let's do it early. Yeah.
Get it right in the middle.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to our audience what a phrase, our D&D phrase, means?
Well, we have sort of a promotion going right now that if you send us a instant message on Instagram, or not instant message, talking about AOL, no, a direct message on Instagram, message on Facebook, or you can email us at dads@latchkeydads.com. Just send us what that D&D phrase of the episode is, and you will win a free Latch-Key Dads keychain.
Cool. All right. So the D&D phrase of the episode is beholder. Beholder.
Yes. Excellent.
There you go.
And if you go pre-pandemic, I would not have known what that was. But now I do.
Nice.
Cool. So again, if you guys are looking to get that free keychain, beholder.
Nice. All right. I think you're up. Pick are we going to revoke? Oh, wait. Do you revoke my 80's card for not liking fruit roll-ups, Tim? Is that a revocable offense?
I think that might just be a warning.
A warning?
Okay. I think with foods, we'll go with warning, because food is, it's a little tough to love everything,
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go with I never solved a Rubik's Cube.
Did you own a Rubik's Cube?
I didn't actually own one. My brother had one. Actually, I take that back. He had an original with the correct colors Rubik's Cube. I had one that, remember Chex cereal?
Yeah, of course.
They had a thing where you could send in the UPC whatever symbols from Chex cereal, and you could get one, but all the sides had little fruits on them instead of the
funny.
The colors.
Okay.
So I had a weird offshoot Rubik's Cube, which I didn't solve either.
No.
Yeah.
I never solved one either. So I'm gonna say probably 95% of Generation X never solved a Rubik's Cube. So I'm gonna let you off the hook. Not even a warning. This is just keep going about your business, sir.
Well, and I will say, my son has become an expert.
Really?
Yeah, you can give him a messed up one, he'll solve it in a minute or two.
Get out of town.
But he also grew up in an era where the internet existed.
Right.
And you can watch all these instructional videos. And I give him a ton of credit. He will get into something and he will just, that's all he wants to do.
Yeah.
So he would watch all these videos with all these different, the techniques of if it's this, do this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And he can just solve a Rubik's Cube like nothing. And I am 100% jealous of that skill. It's really kind of a cool, parlor trick if you can just pick up a Rubik's Cube, look at it a couple times, and solve it.
And you're done. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will agree with you though that I don't remember too many of my friends being able to solve one either. It's definitely a skill that seems to have gotten more pervasive as the technology of being able to see other people do it and learn the skill.
And and then there was always that one friend that would just peel the colors, the stickers of the. Look, I did it.
Or I think if you turned it at an angle, you could pop it apart.
Yes,
and reassemble
that's
it.
right. Yeah,
which I always kind of wanted to do, but I was afraid I was going to break it, so I never did.
Your free checks one from.
Exactly.
All right. So how about a little fashion?
Okay.
All right. I did not own parachute pants.
Again, I want to give you a hard time about it,
Yeah.
but that seems more like you got to convince your parents to get them, and I think that could have been a hard sell at times to have your parents agree to, in their opinion, probably really goofy pants with a lot of zippers on them. And
Yeah.
stuff. I did have 2 pair.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh,
I had a black
nice.
pair and a gray pair.
Nice.
My mom gave them to me not that many years ago, and my daughter actually was wearing them for a while. So
That's awesome.
vintage 80s parachute pants being worn in the 2020s. So yeah, pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even went so far as to have the bandanas tied around like your thigh, kind of like
Yes,
the
I know.
break dancers
Yep.
and stuff. Yeah.
I was gonna say, did you break dance?
There was a talent show in 6th grade where me and this other kid, we brought in
No
pieces
way.
of cardboard, and we both did some breakdancing on cardboard in the talent show. So.
Oh, if somebody has video of that, please,
No, I don't think so.
please send it in.
Pretty unlikely. And I think all we did was spin on our back and then lay over on the side with one leg, crossed over the other
Yeah.
and a hand under the head. And we thought we were the coolest. So
Were you better than the Australian?
I would say our moves were probably more breakdance-like than hers. So yeah, I'm going to say we were better.
Nice. My father wouldn't let me even attempt it. You're
Yeah.
gonna break your neck. I didn't really want to attempt it, but then he said I can't do it, and I was like,
Well,
no,
then
I kind of
have
want to.
Yeah, that's funny. We would try to do the wrist spin thing, and we had spindly arms, we'd just fall immediately. We had no strength. So. And the head spin was always you'd get a quarter turn and you'd fall over.
Fall down. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Very cool.
All right, I'm gonna go with another movie. I never saw the movie Poltergeist.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you off with a warning.
Okay.
Again, the horror factor. You didn't
Yeah.
like scary movies.
Yeah.
Weren't really, part of your normal routine. So yeah, I'll let you off with a warning on that
All
one.
right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie, but
Yeah, I mean, I know, similar to, you said with Say Anything, some of the key scenes from it, she's in front of the TV and, the
Right.
creepy guy walking through, I don't know if it's a mall or a street or something, kind of tracking her.
yeah, yeah.
Some of those, and then it got worked into so many other, the Simpsons episode that's sort of based on it. I know enough to kind of navigate it, but yeah, I've never seen the whole movie. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't miss that much, to be
Alright.
honest. and I'll agree. Let's see here. I only saw it once, years and years ago, and haven't seen it. It wasn't so great that I went back and watched it again. So that makes you feel better.
Okay. I feel much better.
All right, there you go. All right, this one truly might get my my 80's card revoked. I never owned a skateboard.
That is a bit of a that's a pretty hard mark right there. Was it more of you didn't want to, or you just didn't? You never really had.
Yeah, I just
one
never
given
had an
to you?
opportunity.
Did any of your friends skateboard?
Not really.
Okay.
A couple of friends of friends did, but no. And then I think my parents thought it looked too dangerous, along with the lines of breakdancing.
Sure.
So it wasn't like they would just run out and get me one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think my brother and I, we kind of got into it because my parents, had bought this old home. It was sort of a farmhouse, and there was a garage, and we were always poking around in the barn in the garage trying to find stuff, and we found the old original piece of wood with some skate, someone had broke a pair of skates and put the skate
cool.
wheels on
Yeah.
it. The big fat multi.
Mhm.
I think they were red, but sort of clear, wide.
Oh, nice.
Skates.
Yeah.
On the bottom of this thing. And we rode around on it, and it was really rickety and probably more dangerous just because of how old it was. And then we convinced, our parents to let us get some hand-me-down ones. We found there was a thing, it was called The Key, sort of like the original Craigslist, but it was just a piece of, a newspaper that people would put stuff in for sale. And we found 2 skateboards. One was my brother's, was the one from Back to the Future.
Oh,
that Marty rides in the movie.
Oh, very cool.
Valterra was the brand.
Okay.
And then there was a second one that they had spray painted the top of it silver, and it wasn't nearly as cool.
Yeah.
But I was the little brother, so I got the less cool one.
Of
but
course.
then my brother he helped me like take like, I don't know if we used paint thinner or something. We removed all the spray paint and got down to like the original design, and we took like a Sharpie, whatever, not a Sharpie, but some old, pretty thick marker, and like redrew all the original stuff on it. And it was it looked a lot better, and it was a project. We're both artists. It was kind of fun to do.
Oh.
But then we got, we got into, my brother got Santa Cruz skateboards. I got a Tony Hawk, and then we just kept buying, more and more of the cooler, more expensive, built the half pipe, the whole thing. So yeah, we went pretty hardcore into skateboarding. So
that's awesome. You had a brother, to do that with. So
yeah, it was fun.
And you forget, like Tim, that I thoroughly enjoyed the much cooler sport of rollerblading.
True.
As opposed to the dorky skateboarding. So, let's...
Yeah. No, it's all good. All good.
I speak facetiously, of course.
I will say, I did have a pair of probably some of the dorkiest regular skates ever.
Oh, really?
If I recall, I think they had orange wheels on them, and they were meant to look like sneakers. But they were yellow, like kind of canvas, and then like blue accents on them with, I think, red shoelaces. They were it looked like if Ronald McDonald had a pair of roller skates. That's what they looked like.
Epic.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Epic.
Yeah.
I had the traditional, ones like every little kid gets, the Fisher Price, and they like expand or contract. I think we've seen that.
We had some of those, but they were metal wheels.
Ooh.
Like super old. And like you couldn't, like there was no rolling. It was basically you were walking on metal wheels, like just. But they had the, expanders in them.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That's funny.
You fall down, smack somebody in the face with them,
Break some teeth.
Yeah. Any other things that you remember you should have had or been a part of?
I'm going to throw this one out. Laser tag was probably one of the coolest toys, at least for a couple years, and never had a laser tag.
Oh man, I did. I think we talked about this once before. Yeah. They never worked out well.
Yeah,
cool to have for about 15 minutes, and then you realize they don't work well.
Yeah. But still, just the idea of like something where you could shoot.
Yeah.
It was futuristic in a way. Yeah, it was very cool.
And it was cool, when I first got them, because a neighbor kid had one. So like, because you only got a 2-pack.
Yeah.
So when the other kid had a 2-pack, at least it was a little more fun when you're, versus one-on-one where,
Yeah. And all you had to do was put your hand over the.
Yeah. No blocking.
I'm not. You are.
I got you. No, I'm not. Definitely, that's just a minor infraction. Pay a fine and you're off the hook.
How about you? Any others that come to mind?
This one I know, and because I didn't experience it, but I know so many Generation Xers experience this, and it's a movie called The Day After. And my wife told me all about it, and I didn't even know this was a thing. Have you ever heard about this?
I have not, no.
All right, when I explain it, maybe you will.
Okay.
So it was a made-for-TV movie.
Oh, okay.
It takes place in, I think, Australia, and it's about atomic bombs. Mm. It's about, the height of the Cold War and what happens with, nuclear things. And it's extremely depressing and extremely sad. And it's the mother alone with the child in the house, and, basically the world's coming to an end. And it was, so traumatic for Generation Xers as we were just exposed to,
Sure.
Horses dying in quicksand and trying to get Optimus Prime being killed. We experienced all, and this was just another one of those type of, they just wanted us to grow up so quickly or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But apparently it was a big deal. Like a lot of people were horrified and traumatized by this. So.
Yeah. No, it sounds like it would have been traumatic if I had seen it, but no. I missed that. And it makes me wonder, though, that we had 3 Mile Island was not that far away.
That's right. Yeah.
And there was that scare where my mom was like, we didn't know, but she was packing stuff up in like a suitcase.
Really?
Like thinking she may have to grab us at a moment's notice and like get in the car and just try to drive away as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So maybe she didn't let us watch it for fear of like that was so close to home that she just didn't want that in our heads or not. But I'd never heard of it.
Yeah. I might have to rent it.
Seriously. When you're feeling too happy, just...
I want to be depressed.
Be brought down a bit, yeah.
Well, we do love, our generation does love those apocalyptic movies.
True. Maybe it needs a remake.
There you go. Everything else has been remade, so.
Yeah, totally. Start with the after-school specials and the made-for-TV movies.
Any others you off the top of your head, or you want to get off your chest, I should say?
Yeah. I'm gonna throw this one out there. This is probably a little more outside of the 80s, maybe edge of 80s, beginning of 90s. I didn't like REM.
No.
I mean, I've come around on it as I've gotten older, but when they were hot and they were like the thing, I just was like, no, no thanks. And even so much that right around the time when Kurt Cobain passed, he was interviewed and he said he was kind of like, music wasn't as fulfilling as it had been, but if he could, he'd really love to work with Michael Stipe. And I was like, Kurt, no. No.
Your soul broke a little bit there.
Please. But yeah.
I was never a big REM fan myself. I was turned off to them initially because of that awful song, Shiny Happy People. Right? Like I heard that song. I was like, I am not shiny. I'm not happy. I'm a person, but no, and so that was kind of like my initial thing to them. So
I guess for me, maybe it was more my girlfriend at the time was really into him, and like so into him, and I was like, that's enough. Enough with the REM, please, no more REM.
But you got a little appreciation after the fact for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of the stories behind the songs, like understanding like they weren't just silly songs for the sake of being silly songs. Like they actually had like some story or something behind them. I kind of appreciated it a little bit more, but still not a huge fan, but I'll listen. Once in a while. I
do appreciate that they're one of the, maybe the only rock band in history that said they're going to retire and then actually did retire. Never came back for the money-grabbing reunion tour or anything like that.
Oh, wait, what's this, Greg? This just in?
Yes.
REM Tour 2025.
All right, let's get tickets. And they're pulling the B-52s as their opening act. Yes!
All right. Sign me not up for that. Any last thoughts for yourself?
Not really. I just want to get, I'll go along with yours since you talked about not liking a band. I really could not stand, and to this day, stand Bon Jovi. He's just like fake to me, not real rock, so uncool to me. But I liked Iron Maiden and Ozzy, and so when you try to compare him, it just doesn't work. And you a bit Bon Jovi fan?
I mean, I will admit that I had Slippery When Wet on cassette. I feel like that was maybe around 6th grade.
Okay.
Everybody in my school was all over that album, and I think we were all wearing, Chuck Taylors with our sweatpants pulled up to our, top of our calves and listening to Bon Jovi. So I wouldn't say we were at the height of cool either, but I wonder if some of your disdain stems from the fact that he's from New Jersey and you didn't want to be associated with someone with that style of music.
I think I think you're right about that. Definitely. It's like, he's got to suck and be from New Jersey. Man.
All right. Well, what's your feeling on the Boss? Are you a Springsteen fan or not?
I do not like.
I think I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Just don't like your homegrown talent.
I will say that I'll give Bruce credit. He seems to be a talented, musician. I saw him in concert once. He puts on a great show, but I can't stand his music.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I was never a huge fan. I mean, to your point, like there's some songs they're iconic. If they're on, I'll listen to it. But I'm not at the front of the stage cheering. I'm just like, it's on.
Right. So I don't know. Do I still have my 80's card, or am I on probation? What's the double secret probation?
Yeah. Well, we don't have an official to really make a ruling on this. So true. I'm going to say you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're good. How about me? Am I right?
No, I'm sorry. You've been revoked.
We'll call Gabe over here. You have to take the mic from now on.
No, I think you didn't like horror movies, and you didn't have a hypercolor T-shirt. It's okay.
All right, cool. The next list, I'll dig into the real problems, and then we can figure out if I'm allowed to hang on to that card. Very cool.
Excellent. So, Tim, what grade do you want to give this episode?
Well, I feel like we haven't done a grade on an episode in a while, and being that the Olympics just ended.
True.
What do you say we go with an Olympic medal?
I think you're right. I think it's a great idea. I think that we crushed it.
As always, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So no doubt we get first podium?
Yeah, 100%.
Gold medal.
Nice.
And speaking of gold, the Olympics, I got to tell that joke. So, it's on my mind. I got to say it. So just to preface this, I am a little bit Polish. But the joke I was going to say was, did you hear about the Polish guy who won the gold medal at the Olympics?
No.
He went home and bronzed it.
Classic 80s elementary school humor.
There you go. Can't get enough Latch-Key Dad content? Well, check out latchkeydads.com.
That's right, Greg. On our website, we've got a plethora of photos from each episode, as well as other interesting links to content that we talk about on the show.
Yeah, Tim, I really enjoy all the pictures that you put up there, as they really bring the episode home.
Yeah, I guess I'm not afraid to show those embarrassing photos of my childhood. So, yeah, we encourage you to check out the website, latchkeydads.com, for all that content.
Excellent. And if you have a moment, check out our shop page where we've got really cool keychains for sale. If you don't know what to get your dad for Christmas, the holidays, Father's Day, birthday, check it out. It's a cool gift. Tim, did you know that listeners should like, review, and subscribe to the Latch-Key Dads podcast?
No. But now I know. Knowing is half the battle.